So welcome back, friends. Thank you so much for all the well wishers wishing me a happy birthday today. I really appreciate it. Excuse me. My morning started off with a dream, and my dream was a connection to a grandparent who really wanted me to read the scripture. The scripture has been with me for most of this day. So let me not end this day without reading it. Okay, you ready? If you want to follow along, it's Matthew 25:35 through 40. Okay, and it starts as, "For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me." Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and gave you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes or clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you?" The king will reply, "Truly, I tell you, whatever you did, for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." So that is basically saying that sometimes we look at people as different. We say, okay, I wouldn't do this if God were here, but I'll do this to you. What he's saying is, this is Jesus speaking, of course. He's saying that if you did it to them, you did it to me. A lot of people don't see their wrongdoing. They see it as right, especially when when nobody wants to be blamed for anything, you know? If my job was sacrificed and somebody said, "You can no longer work," how am I supposed to work? How am I supposed to eat? How am I supposed to live? When a person renders you or forces you into homelessness, they know nothing of what it is that you're going to have to deal with. Now, because I'm a survivor, okay, I'm a warrior, and I'm not going to take this and say this is totally me. This is God who's given me the strength and the ability to do these things. There are going to be people who are going to push you to such a point where you want to retaliate. You have to find that inner you, and you have to reach in and talk to God about it, because everyone is going to have their own limit on what it is that they can deal with. You know, I felt like I was tried on so many different levels, and to think that this is my family that did this, you know. You can look at, I've looked at people all my life, you know, my grandfather, what his point was that he was trying to make clear is, some of the things that happen to you is so that you will be loving and nurturing to others. Some of the things happen to you in your childhood should not have happened to you. However, a lot of these things happen so that you can relate to other people, so that you can actually help other people. You know what the injustices are and that happen to you. So if you know the injustices that happen to you, you would not want that to happen to someone else. And sometimes I found myself protecting another person in situations where I was already in those situations before, and no one fought on my own behalf. My grandfather was a minister, and this is one of his many lessons that he taught on. So for him to be an ancestor now, and to see all of this carry out, and to see the people doing all of these great injustices and not even so much as think twice about it, this is why what's about to happen is going to happen. And there's nothing that anyone can do about it, because God is in control. And God is saying, you did all of this to this one individual, all of you coming up against one individual. Some of you knowing what was going on, and you did not even so much as speak a word. So that's why people are going to have to reap a certain form of karma. That's what it is, you know. When I complained and I talked about there was trafficking going on, nobody listened. When I said, and of course, I'm in the midst of a lot of this stuff already, and they're like, you know, again, your protection. You have to be protected by God, because you can complain, but even when you go to certain authorities, they really want proof. They need proof because there's so many people who out here making up stories. You know, like the boy who cried wolf. You know, you had one individual who was claiming that I was this horrible person. And people listened. They didn't even so much as pray over it and say, God, give me the right answer. They just took this person's words for it and decided that they were going to jump on this person's side. Now, when we come on this platform, we are here to speak on different levels. I would love to talk about strawberries and flowers all the time, but you still have to get down to the meat of it. There's certain things that are going on, and these injustices have to be fixed. The right individuals are getting involved, and they are going to make sure that this is made right. You know, you have people in higher authority who did not look at all that was being placed on the table. The doctor who wrote these falsified information, this falsified information on against me and never even met me. You got people who hung out with this individual who said that they knew me. They never met me a day in their life. There's going to be different things that happen in our lives that we have no control over. You got to give it to God. Because if you don't give it to God, who are you going to do? Who are you going to take care of it with? Because you can decide you want to retaliate and you find yourself in harm's way. You know, when a person is homeless, you could play all kind of games with them. You could sit up there and try to fingerprint them, and they're sleeping, so they don't even know. Fingerprint them and use it against them. My water bottle, the lady told me that somebody took my water bottle out the garbage and put it in a plastic bag. You know, all sorts of things. People will do different things to make sure that you look bad so that they can go ahead and they can be on a come up. This is, again, when people grow up and they have nothing growing up, and they want so desperately to be looked at as the wealthy, and they want to act like they're the wealthy, you're not going to be even wealthy when you get this money that is stolen. Because when you steal from someone else, everything you purchase is going to be nil and void. You won't even be able to appreciate it. They gave money to a young lady going to college, and she said, you know, I want you to answer on, I want you to lie over and do this. Gave her money, she couldn't even enjoy her time in college, and the money's gone. Before she could even get herself really acclimated in school, the money's gone. You see, what you're doing in the dark is coming out in the light, because God saw it all. And if he sees it, he's going to make sure that it is balanced. So even when I was constantly saying, you know, karma, don't do this, you reap what you sow, you know, people still didn't listen. Even now, you know, I told you, my brother, I actually had to go. My oldest brother called me one night and said he needed my help. And out of the kindness of my heart, I'm thinking he's in trouble. I go there, and God had me get into an accident so that I would not get there at the time that I was supposed to get there. Had I gotten there, I wouldn't be here today. You see what I'm saying? God will protect you in different situations, fools and babes. It is important that you pray and you talk to God and you tell him what your situation is, because people surrounding you sometimes won't give a rap about what's going on with you. They're only concerned about themselves. And a lot of people grow up selfish because they did not have. So now they're like, I'm going to come up. I deserve this. But you deserve what? Because if it's by sacrificing someone else, then you deserve it. Then you will go down just as quickly as the people who fell victim to it. It is important that we look at our actions and you pray and you reevaluate your actions. Because if you're going to do something to hurt an innocent individual, then you will reap the benefits of just that. Indigo Moon, you have a wonderful one. Have a great day. Night.